What inspired you to get into barbecue, and why is it such a big part of your life? Or how did it come such a big part of your life? I mean, I think it's kind of self-explanatory for me. I'm with the family history of Sweet Baby Ray's, and I was always intrigued by food growing up, and watching my dad and my uncle cook ribs on the huge Weber grill always excited me. At one point, we're like right after high school, I thought I'm not going to go in the food industry. My dad's always working on nights, weekends, and holidays. He's always grumpy. I got to find something else to do. That just doesn't seem like a good program to me. And went to traditional community college for a year, and I was like, that ain't happening. I'm not doing that for 4 years. That just wasn't me. So I actually moved out to Utah with some buddies and started working in restaurants because that's all I knew. That's what I had experience with. That's how knew I could get a job, and I did that. And I worked for a female chef out in Salt Lake, or Park City, Utah, just outside of Salt Lake, and really found my passion for food out there. Worked at a California cuisine restaurant, worked with fresh vegetables, went to the farmer's market. I had seafood flown in from Hawaii, and I worked the grill, so cooked veal chops and hand-formed burgers and pork chops and fish on the grill, and just kind of like really found my passion out there. It was a lot of fun. Ended up living out there for about 9 months during the 2002 Winter Olympics. 9/11 happened, decided I shouldn't be this far away from my family. Moved back to Chicago I moved in with Uncle Dave, and actually went to Kendall College, started going to Kendall College then, and in Chicago. And anytime there was a report or special project or something due, I always did it that we had choice in kind of like forming what it was going to be about. I always did it around barbecue. I did a history of barbecue, different regions of barbecue. Really started developing a understanding and a passion for barbecue at culinary school, traditional barbecue. Started cooking barbecue in the backyard at Uncle Dave's house. Some of the first rounds of pork shoulder were pretty rough and tough, but really started to understand it more, and it's kind of funny to think about it, like look back and think about it, because I remember as we were finishing up high school, we had this one chemistry teacher, and he had us write a letter to ourselves in 10 years. And he said, what are you going to be doing in 10 years? What are some of your goals and your ambitions? And I actually remember getting that letter back 10 years post-graduation, and it said that I wanted to open a restaurant with my dad or my uncle, a Sweet Baby Ray's restaurant. And it had happened, and we opened up the Sweet Baby Ray's restaurant in 2005, and really learned a lot and made so many mistakes in the early days. But I always liked the food industry. There was such a camaraderie there. I don't know, it's something about it. My wife always says you got born into it, or it chose you didn't choose it, sort of situation. And I think there's some truth to that for sure, because not everybody can be in the hospitality industry. It's long hours. Typically, the pay is not outstanding. And I like to think about it as you need a servant's heart to be in the hospitality industry. It has to make you happy to make other people happy. And that's what we do is provide a great experience. And we live to see that smile on the customers' faces. And that's what we do day in and day out. And it's the holiday season right now, so it's just crazy back there in the kitchen right now. And as soon as I'm done with this podcast, I'm gonna jump back there and help the guys out, because I know it's just wild. But I like doing that. I like getting my hands dirty. I like jumping back and helping out. Generally, my job is to continue to push the vision forward and keep the Duce train going, as people like to say, because we have so much on our plate with the restaurant and growing the catering business, and now Duce is Wild. So it's a lot of balls in the air. And if I was back there all the time chopping onions, it wouldn't do it. Wouldn't move the ball forward like it has to be done. But having said that, like I said, I do like to get back there and do stuff once in a while, because it keeps me involved, gives me a relationship with the guys in the kitchen, and it's fun. I enjoy doing it. That's what I got into this industry for. I just can't do it all the time. Yeah, so that's why I'm passionate about barbecue. And I've really become more passionate about creating content online. I think it's a lot of fun. People get a lot of value out of it, I hope, I think. I know they do because they tell me about it, and they leave comments, good, bad, and the ugly online. But it's all good. I think I'm providing some information to people. Just this week, it was a great story. So we posted for Thanksgiving a different way to do your turkey. So actually taking the breast meat off, taking everything off the carcass, deboning the breast, butterflying it, stuffing it with stuffing, and wrapping it with bacon and smoking that separate, and then keeping the legs and the wings, cooking those on the side, more traditional like smoke style. But why? Because breast meat is done at 165, and while technically you can eat the leg and thigh at 165, it's not necessarily tender. It's actually more tender and juicy at 185 because the connective tissue starts to break down at 185. And this guy in my neighborhood saw the video. He said, I'm going to give it a shot. He was texting with me a little bit, and I gave him some more tips. And he nailed it. He posted on Instagram, and his family loved it, and he thanked me. And that makes me happy that I was able to provide some sort of information for someone, and they were able to make that and impress their family. And those type of small stories, that type of stuff happens more often than not when we're producing fun, creative content and people enjoy it. And then hopefully that kicks them back to maybe they'll come to the restaurant, or next time they need a catering event, they'll think about us. Next time they need some sauce or rubs, they'll go to Duce's Wild. So I think the old saying, the more you give, the more you get. And that's why we put out this content. It costs us a lot of money to produce this content. It's not free. Not just the cost of the meat either. It's the whole production of everything, the videographer, the editing, my time, but we're seeing the results from it, and it's something that I have really started enjoying a lot as part of my job, and we're going to continue doing that.